over the next 30 days, we're going to look at how you can begin to shift your perspective, the way in which you view the thoughts and feelings that arise in your mind. I think when we feel depressed, it's a very lonely place, very isolated, and we often feel very stuck. It's very frustrating. We don't want to feel the way we feel, and yet it's as though we just can't help it. But these 30 days are not about trying to stop those thoughts. It's not about getting rid of the feeling. It's about how we can shift our perspective, how we can see them in a different way so that we no longer engage with them in the same way, and instead we begin to let go of them. Now, in these first 10 days, we're going to focus on a technique called noting. And it's deceptively simple. It is different from the Foundation series. So, as I say, it sounds very, very simple, but it very quickly helps to create a little more space between ourselves and our thoughts, ourselves and the feeling. So if you haven't done any noting before, be sure to check out the noting technique video. But either way, I'll lead you through the exercise as we go. And we're going to begin today in the usual way. So just make sure you're sitting comfortably, whether that's on a chair or on the floor, eyes open, a nice soft focus, just aware of the space around you. And when you're ready, just starting with some big deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with the next out breath, just gently closing the eyes and just feeling the weight sink down into the chair or into the floor. And just taking a moment to notice the different sounds around you as you just settle into that space now. They're just slowly now starting to become more aware of how the body feels. At first, just in a very general way, so whether there's a sense of heaviness, tiredness in the body, or a sense of lightness, of energy. Either way, starting off at the top of the head, just gently scanning down through the body. Just noticing where it feels comfortable, where it perhaps might feel uncomfortable. Just scanning evenly down towards the toes. And if you haven't done already, just starting now to become more aware of the breath, that rising and falling sensation. So to begin with, not focusing too intently, just aware of where you feel the movement in the body. And just noticing how the breath feels, whether the breaths are long or short, deep or shallow. So as you continue to follow the breath, we're going to maintain that sense, that gentle focus on the breath. But each time you realize that the mind's wandered off, rather than simply coming straight back to the breath, just pause for a moment and be clear in your mind whether the nature of the distraction is due to thinking or feeling. By feeling, I mean a physical sensation. So you realize you've been distracted. You pause. Mentally, you just note thinking or feeling. And then bring the attention back to the breath and just pick up where you left off before. Just continuing in that way on your own now. Remember, you can always count the breaths. If you find that easier, or simply continue without. So realizing when the mind races off after a thought, feeling, if you see it before you get completely lost in it, that's fine. Just come back to the breath. If you get completely distracted in it, just gently noting the nature of distraction and then coming back to the breath again. Remember, there's no need to note every single thought or feeling that passes by. It's only in those moments where we realize we've been completely distracted that it's helpful just to mentally label or note that distraction as thinking or feeling, then just gently bringing the attention back to the breath again. And again, the moment you realize that the mind's wandered off, been distracted, just gently bringing the attention back again. Just picking it up from the number you left off on. So not sitting with any expectation or goal, each and every just a soft focus on the breath, remembering to note when you get distracted. And now just for a moment letting go of that focus on the breath, letting go of any idea of needing to note or label, and just for a moment let the mind do whatever it wants to do. And now just gently bringing the attention back again to the body, just to those points of contact, that feeling of the body pressing down, perhaps the feet on the floor or the arms, the hands on the legs. Just starting to notice the different sounds around you, perhaps any smells, just becoming more familiar with the space that you're sat in right now. And as you gently open your eyes, just taking a moment to notice how the body feels, how the mind feels. Not looking for any particular goal, not being disappointed if we don't find what we're looking for, but simply noticing. So a really important part of the exercise, and knowing that if there is a greater sense of calm and clarity in the mind right now, knowing that this is a quality that we can carry into the day. And this is a really important part as we go through the next 30 days. This formal exercise and the different techniques that we're going to use in parts 1, 2, and 3 are really important, but they need to be supported. They need to be supported by a more mindful approach to everyday life. So as much as possible as you go through the day, realizing when the mind's wandered off, realizing when you've got distracted by those habitual feelings, and in that moment, just gently noting, oh yeah, thinking, oh yeah, feeling, and just bringing the attention back either to the breath or to whatever you're doing at the time. So I'll be back tomorrow with a few more tips on how to get the best out of the noting technique. I look forward to seeing you back here then.